Greetings, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Before we start, let's clarify the context. Adolf Hitler ruled Nazi Germany as its dictator from 1933 to 1945. He ignited World War II, was responsible for millions of deaths, and oversaw one of history's darkest eras. This narrative isn't meant to glorify or condemn him. Our purpose is purely educational, to shed light on historical events, aid in English language practice, and explore the truth of his final 24 hours. For a complete account of his life, check out his full biography on our channel. Today, however, we zoom in on his last day, the end of it all, presented like a cinematic story grounded in historical facts. Welcome to the final hours of a figure history will never erase. This isn't a political statement or a judgment. It's a snapshot of a critical moment, Adolf Hitler's last day. Once a leader addressing millions, he now sat in solitude. Once commanding vast armies, he hid underground, awaiting death. We'll guide you through those final moments. Step into the bunker. Feel the tremors from bombs overhead. Witness the fear in the eyes of those who stayed loyal until the end. This video also serves as a tool for English listening practice, using vivid storytelling, authentic events, and rich vocabulary to enhance your language skills while recounting one of history's most gripping days. Let's dive in. Part 1. April 29, 1945, the bunker, the marriage, and the final stand. It's the dead of night. Above, Berlin burns, but below, in the cold concrete bunker beneath the city, time seems to crawl. Adolf Hitler, 56 years old, sits alone. He knows the war is lost. Soviet forces are seizing Berlin street by street. Death looms just hours away. Yet, in this moment, he makes an unexpected choice. He instructs his aide, organize a wedding. Tonight, I marry Eva. Why now, after 14 years of secrecy, at the world's end, does he decide to wed Eva Braun? She had been by his side since she was 17, always hidden from public view, no photos, no mention in his speeches. For 14 years, she remained in the background, loyal but unseen. Twice, she attempted suicide, not from his cruelty but from feeling invisible. Yet she stayed, devoted to him. In his final days, as others urged her to flee the bunker, she refused. Her unwavering loyalty, not driven by power or wealth, struck him. Now, with Berlin collapsing and the bunker trembling, he declared, "She deserves my name, even if only for a few hours." This wasn't about romance or love, it was about control, ceremony, and closure. He wanted his life's end to be orderly, a marriage, a will, a final statement, a planned death. This was his farewell's beginning. In a small, dimly lit room, the wedding took place. No flowers, no music, just the scratching of pens on paper and the distant rumble of explosions. Eva Braun wore a light blue silk dress, her expression eerily serene. Those present noted her calm, almost detached smile. Hitler, in a plain black suit without medals, stood before a civil official who asked the traditional vows. "Do you take this woman?" He replied, "Yes." After 14 years, they were wed. The staff attempted a celebration, a small table, a bottle of champagne, but no one drank or smiled. The mood was oppressive. One officer later remarked, "It felt like a burial, not a marriage." Afterward, Hitler retreated to a nearby room and sat at his desk. With trembling hands and lifeless eyes, he began dictating his final testament to his secretary, Trottel Junge, who typed every word. He expressed no regret, shed no tears, admitted no defeat. Instead, he blamed the Jews for the war and his generals for disloyalty. He insisted history would vindicate him, though he wouldn't live to see it. Then he issued a clear order: my body must not be captured. Burn it. He recalled Mussolini's fate, his body desecrated and mocked. Hitler refused to suffer the same. He signed the document deliberately, his final directive. It was nearing 5 a.m. After completing the testament, Hitler lay down, not to sleep, as no one truly rested that night, but to wait. Above, Berlin was crumbling. Soviet tanks crushed the last Nazi defenses. Buildings turned to rubble, and citizens fled, wept, or perished. But in the bunker, time felt frozen. The thick walls muted the chaos, trapping everyone in a surreal, trembling stillness. Eva sat beside him, holding his hand. They spoke little, words were unnecessary. This was both their honeymoon and their end. Hitler's valet brought a modest breakfast: stale bread, a touch of honey, and tea. He barely ate. He looked gaunt, aged far beyond his years. His right hand shook, his eyes were dull, his voice a faint murmur. He spoke not of war, escape, or hope, just sat quietly with Eva, sipping tea as bombs rattled the world above. Then came news that shattered the silence. Heinrich Himmler, a loyal ally for years, had secretly sought peace with the Allies without Hitler's consent. Hitler stared at the report, then erupted, shouting, pounding the table, screaming, "Traitor! Betrayer! I should have seen it." He ordered Himmler's arrest, but deep down, he knew it was futile. His empire was unraveling. For the first time, defeat was visible in his eyes. He sank into his chair, silent, as the end drew closer. Part 2. April 29, 1945, afternoon to nightfall. By noon, the bunker's air grows stifling. No fresh air, no sunlight, just recycled fear and despair. Hitler shuffles into the map room, once alive with war strategies. He used to stand with generals, plotting conquests. Now, the maps are meaningless, the war lost, the empire shattered. He gazes at them, not to plan but to reminisce. These were once maps of triumph, now they're tombstones of ambition. He says little. His body trembles, his legs falter. His doctor offers medicine, but he refuses. This is no longer a war room, it's a monument to his downfall. Hitler's closest companion was Blondie, his German shepherd, loyal and ever-present. But now, he summons his doctor, Werner Hosse, with a chilling request: bring the cyanide capsules. Test them on Blondie. Why? Paranoia consumed him. He distrusted even the poison provided by his inner circle, fearing betrayal. The doctor placed a capsule in Blondie's mouth. She died instantly, silent, swift. Hitler looked away, confirming the poison's potency for his own use. For those in the bunker, this was a turning point. Killing his beloved dog signaled his intent: no survival, no escape, only death. It didn't end there. Eva's 2 Scottish Terriers and Blondie's newborn puppies were also poisoned, erased by Hitler's orders. Nothing, neither body, bloodline, nor memory, could remain. The bunker became a void, a place of total obliteration. If he was to perish, so must everything tied to him. That afternoon, Hitler gathered his remaining officers. They stood before a man who appeared exhausted, hollow, half dead. Some pleaded one last time: "Führer, we can still flee. A plane is ready. You can hide in disguise." He shook his head. "No, I won't run. I won't be taken. I die here in Berlin." Some were stunned, others afraid, a few quietly relieved, knowing they could now flee without shame. He permitted others to escape through the sewers. Some officers and aides prepared to leave that night, though most would die trying. Hitler returned to his room with Eva, who had changed into a simple dark blue dress, no makeup or jewelry. She showed no fear, no tears, just readiness. He looked at her and said, "You can still go. Escape with them." She smiled softly and replied, "No, I stay." It wasn't love or passion, just unwavering, stoic loyalty. They sat in silence, the distant sounds of Berlin's collapse their only company. Hitler summoned his secretaries and aides, shaking their hands one by one. No grand speeches, just brief words, "Thank you. You may go." Some wept, others lingered, but Hitler remained expressionless, almost detached, as if already gone. The night grew quieter. Hitler ate sparingly, bread and tea. He sat with Eva, speaking little. Above, the Soviets closed in, their gunfire echoing. But inside, Hitler was still, writing in his notebook, no longer issuing orders. The war, his war, was over. He and Eva retired to their private room. The door closed. Guards stood outside, but no one entered. It wasn't a night for rest, it was a night for preparation. The end was near. Part 3. April 30th, 1945, the final hours. As April 30th begins, time feels unreal in the Führerbunker. Above, Berlin falls street by street. Explosions, gunfire, and screams fill the air, but below, it's eerily quiet. Hitler lies awake, staring at the ceiling. Eva rests beside him, calm, already resigned. She knows this is her last night. In the hallways, staff whisper faintly, unsure what to say. The bunker is a tomb, awaiting its final occupants. Hitler rises slowly, his steps unsteady, his frame frail. His clothes hang loosely on his emaciated body. He scans the faces of his remaining loyalists, no anger, no fear, just a haunting calm, as if he's already left this world. He and Eva share a meager breakfast, stale bread and tea. She forces a smile, he tries to stay composed. This isn't a meal, it's a prelude to their self-inflicted end. Hitler summons his aide, Otto Gunsch, and issues 2 precise orders. After their deaths, their bodies must be carried outside and burned completely. No trace must remain. He recalls Mussolini's humiliated corpse and vows, "That won't be me. Burn us entirely." Otto nods, pale and trembling, but obedient. Hitler dresses simply, a plain military jacket and dark trousers. Eva wears her favorite dark blue silk dress, lightly perfumed, her hair neatly brushed, like a bride facing her final moment. He meets his staff one last time, shaking hands silently. To his secretary, Trottel Junge, he says, "Thank you. You've served well. You may go." Some weep, others stand frozen. One officer later recalled, he was a shadow, calm but empty, like someone who'd already surrendered. Hitler and Eva return to their private room. She sits on the sofa, holding a cyanide capsule, her face serene. They've planned this moment countless times, death on their terms, no capture by the Soviets. Hitler holds a cyanide capsule and his Walther pistol, ensuring certainty with both poison and bullet. He instructs Otto Gunsch and valet Heinz Ling, "It's time. Wait outside. Open the door when it's done." They nod and stand in the hallway, just feet from the door. Inside, at 3:30 p.m., the final act unfolds. No one witnesses it, but a single gunshot echoes. Otto and Heinz rush in. They find a scene etched into history: Hitler slumped on the sofa, a bullet hole in his temple, blood staining the floor and wall. Eva lies beside him, unmarked, the faint scent of cyanide lingering. Both are dead. The man who once ruled millions is now a lifeless shell in a silent bunker. As ordered, Otto and Heinz wrap the bodies in grey blankets and carry them up the narrow stairs to the Chancellery garden. It's daylight, the ground trembling from nearby artillery. Soviet forces are blocks away. The bodies are placed in a shallow crater. Gasoline is poured, a match lit, and flames erupt. No ceremony, no flag, just fire and smoke as gunfire cracks overhead. They salute the flames and retreat to the bunker. Otto reports, the Führer is dead. His body is burned. Silence follows, no cheers, just pale faces and hollow eyes. Someone whispers, it's finished. Hitler's empire, his dreams, his legacy, reduced to ashes in a garden. Part 4. April 30th, 1945, Aftermath. In the garden, Hitler and Eva's bodies burn, black smoke rising. The flames falter, rain-soaked ground and limited gasoline hinder complete destruction. More fuel is added, but the bodies remain partially intact. Inside the bunker, silence reigns. No one speaks of the future. Fear paralyzes them as Soviet forces near. Before his death, Hitler named Admiral Karl Dönitz as Germany's new leader, bypassing Himmler and Goebbels. Dönitz, in northern Germany, is stunned. The war is lost, Berlin fallen, yet he's now head of a collapsed regime. He begins peace talks with the Allies, hoping to avoid Soviet surrender. In the bunker, Hitler's absence shifts everything. No orders, no leadership, only a void. Staff realize they're no longer part of a government, but a crypt. Some pack bags, coats, food, maps, preparing to flee, knowing capture could mean torture or death. But escape is nearly impossible. Joseph Goebbels, now the senior Nazi official, refuses to flee. He tells his wife, Magda, we won't survive without him. They make a horrifying choice, to die with their 6 children. The staff is stunned but silent. While Goebbels plans death, others plot escape through tunnels or in disguise. The first group of 20 leaves before sunset, but most are killed or captured amid Berlin's chaos. Otto and Heinz check the garden. The bodies are charred but not destroyed, bones and features still visible. They burn them again, then bury the remains in a shallow crater, covering them with dirt and debris. No marker, no trace. Back in the bunker, Magda gives her children, aged 4 to 12, sleeping pills. An SS doctor administers cyanide as they sleep, killing them silently. Joseph and Magda then go to the garden, where he shoots himself, and she takes poison. Their bodies are partially burned. The bunker becomes a mass tomb. Hope is gone. Soviet troops are at the gates, gunfire echoing. Some staff weep, others drink or pray, but all know the end is here. Part 5. May 1st to 9th, 1945, the end. The bunker is a shadow of itself. Hitler, Eva, their dogs, and key allies are gone, dead or fleeing. Above, Soviet soldiers overrun Berlin. The remaining staff are terrified, starving, trapped. On German radio, Dönitz announces Hitler's death, claiming he fell in battle, hiding the truth of his suicide to preserve his image. Soviet troops storm the Reich Chancellery and enter the bunker, dark, smoky, littered with burned papers, scattered food, and bloodstains. They search for Hitler's body, questioning survivors, scouring tunnels and the garden, but find no trace. And then they find something in a shallow crater near the bunker entrance. They discover a burned male body with a bullet hole in the skull. A female body, half burned, with no visible wounds. Remnants of clothing, boots, buttons, a dental bridge. The Soviets believe this might be Hitler and Eva Braun. But the bodies are so badly burned they cannot be confirmed immediately. They collect the remains. They hide them. They take photographs. They begin secret autopsies. Back in Moscow, Soviet leader Joseph Stalin receives the news. He sees the bodies. He hears the reports. But instead of telling the world, he orders silence. Why? Because Stalin wants power over the truth. He thinks, if we don't confirm Hitler's death, the world will remain uncertain. So he says nothing. And by doing that, Stalin starts one of the biggest historical mysteries of all time. With no official Soviet confirmation, the rumors begin to spread. Maybe Hitler didn't die. Maybe he escaped to Argentina. Maybe it was a body double. Maybe the body was fake. Maybe he's hiding, waiting to return. These theories become legends. And even though his staff had seen him dead, even though his body was found, people start believing the lie. Because when truth is hidden, fiction grows. It took decades to confirm everything. But here is what actually happened. 1. Soviet doctors conducted autopsies on the burned bodies. 2. They compared dental records, the most reliable identification method available at the time. 3. Hitler's dental assistant, who survived the war, later confirmed the records. Her testimony matched the burned jawbone found in the garden. That jawbone, with gold bridgework, was Hitler's. The Soviets kept it hidden for over 20 years. Only in the 1990s, after the fall of the Soviet Union, did they finally admit, yes, the body we found was Adolf Hitler. With Hitler gone, Goebbels gone, and Berlin fallen, there was nothing left. On May 7th, Germany signs its official surrender to the Allies. On May 9th, they surrender to the Soviet Union. The war in Europe is over. Nazi Germany is dead. The Third Reich, once powerful, terrifying, global, has ended in a bunker, in silence and flames. The news spreads fast. Newspapers print huge headlines: Hitler dead, suicide confirmed, Germany surrenders, war in Europe ends. Some people celebrate in the streets. Some cry in private. Some don't believe it at all. Because how could a man who started so much horror end his life in a quiet room with a pill and a gun? It felt empty. It felt too easy. But that's the truth. He didn't die in battle. He didn't face justice. He didn't beg for mercy. He died by his own hand, underground, surrounded by fear, failure, and fire. The Soviets destroyed most of it. They blew up the entrance, covered the ruins with concrete, and tried to erase it from history. For decades, the location was kept secret. Today, the site is just a simple parking lot in Berlin. No signs, no memorials, no statue, because Germany chose to never glorify the place where evil ended. And that is powerful. And this was the true historical story of the last 24 hours of Adolf Hitler. Told not to praise, not to support, and not to attack, but to learn, understand, and remember what we learn from this story. No matter how powerful someone becomes, if they lead through fear and hate, they will always fall in silence and shame. History is not just about facts. It is about understanding the cost of blind leadership, war, and destruction. The most dangerous leaders are not the loudest. They are the ones who are followed without question. And finally, if we do not learn from the past, we risk making the same mistakes in the future. This video also helps you practice real-life English through deep storytelling, emotional vocabulary, and simple sentence structure. So, if you are learning English, you are not just watching history, you are improving your listening, understanding, and speaking. If you found this story powerful, if you learned something today, and if you want more true, emotional, and educational videos like this, then please subscribe to this channel right now. Because every video here is created with purpose to help you learn, grow, and become stronger in English and in life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next powerful story.